For more than 2,000 years, one story has hovered between myth and memory, refusing to disappear. A story about a powerful island nation that rose from the sea, conquered half the ancient world, and then vanished beneath the waves in a single day and night. Some call it a legend. Others swear it is history. Today, we dive deep into the mystery of Atlantis, and ask the question the world has never stopped asking. Did it really exist? Everything we know about Atlantis begins with one man, the Greek philosopher Plato. Around 360 BC, he wrote two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. Inside those works, he described an island he claimed existed beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the ancient name for the Strait of Gibraltar. According to him, this island was larger than Libya and Asia combined, filled with mountains, valleys, and fertile plains. Its people were wealthy, powerful, and guided by the sea god Poseidon. Plato said the Atlanteans built magnificent structures arranged in circles, rings of land and water that formed a complex system of harbors and canals. Their navy was unmatched, their armies were enormous, and their cities glittered with silver, gold, and orichalcum, a mysterious metal the ancient world valued even more than precious gold. But Plato didn't tell the story to celebrate Atlantis. He told it as a warning. In his writings, Atlantis was a mighty empire that became greedy, arrogant, and corrupt. After attempting to conquer a virtuous, idealized version of ancient Athens, the island lost the favor of the gods. And then, according to Plato, came the night of destruction. Earthquakes, floods, the entire island swallowed by the sea. To many historians, this was never meant to be a historical record. Plato used stories to express moral lessons, and most experts believe Atlantis was one of those moral lessons, a philosophical allegory about pride, power, and collapse. But over time, the line between allegory and reality began to blur. For centuries, the story of Atlantis stayed in the background. Then came the Renaissance. Suddenly, old texts were rediscovered, and thinkers began imagining perfect societies. Writers like Thomas More and Francis Bacon adapted the idea of Atlantis to describe utopias, places where humanity lived with enlightenment and harmony. But it wasn't until the late 1800s that Atlantis exploded into global fascination. In 1882, an American politician named Ignatius Donnelly published a book called Atlantis, The Antediluvian World. Donnelly believed Atlantis wasn't just real. He believed it was the birthplace of human civilization. According to him, the people of Atlantis spread knowledge, architecture, agriculture, and writing across the world before sinking beneath the waves. His ideas had no scientific support, but the book became wildly popular and sparked a worldwide obsession. From that moment on, Atlantis stepped out of philosophy and into the realm of mystery, speculation, and adventure. But what if Plato didn't invent Atlantis entirely from imagination? What if he drew inspiration from real events? One of the strongest theories points to the Minoan civilization, a powerful Bronze Age society that lived on the islands of Crete and Thera, in the Aegean Sea. Around 1600 BC, a massive volcanic eruption struck Thera, an event so violent it shattered the island, triggered tsunamis, created darkness over the region, and brought destruction to surrounding cities. The Minoans were highly advanced, with complex architecture, running water systems, vibrant frescoes, and a vast maritime trading network. If a civilization like that were nearly wiped out in a single moment, the memory of its fall could easily evolve into a legend, one that Plato later reshaped into the myth of Atlantis. Another theory connects Atlantis to the mysterious sea peoples, powerful naval raiders who attacked ancient Mediterranean civilizations around 1200 BC. Their origins remain unknown, but stories of a formidable sea-based culture may have fed into Plato's imagination. There is also the real sinking of the Greek city of Helike in 373 BC. It was destroyed by an earthquake and tsunami, swallowed by the sea almost instantly. Plato lived during this period, and may have been inspired by this recent catastrophe while crafting his story of a once great city destroyed in a single night. Even with these possibilities, many scholars maintain that Atlantis is entirely fictional, a story built to illustrate Plato's ideas about ideal and corrupt societies. Yet the mystery persists, because the world is full of places that seem to echo the legend. Some researchers believe Atlantis lies somewhere along the mid-Atlantic ridge, a vast undersea mountain chain stretching across the Atlantic Ocean. The idea is mostly speculative, but Plato's placement of Atlantis, beyond the Pillars of Hercules, keeps fueling interest. Others point to the island of Santorini, where the remains of the Minoan city of Akrotiri show an advanced culture with multi-story buildings, rich artwork, and an urban layout that strangely resembles Plato's circular description. In Africa, the Eye of the Sahara, also known as the Rickhat structure, has captured global attention. This massive circular formation in Mauritania mirrors the shape and dimensions Plato described. The landscape is striking, but archaeologists have found no evidence of an ancient city there. In the Caribbean, underwater rock formations around the Bahamas sparked theories of sunken temples or roads. Most scientists believe these structures are natural, but they continue to inspire speculation. And in southern Spain, researchers studying the Donnelly wetlands discovered signs of ancient settlements buried by floods and tsunamis. Some believe this region once held a complex culture that might have inspired or resembled the story of Atlantis. Despite all these theories, no proven evidence of Atlantis has ever been found. And yet, the legend refuses to fade, maybe because Atlantis represents more than a place. It represents our imagination, our longing for forgotten worlds, and our fascination with what might be hiding beneath the ocean's surface. With more than 80% of the world's oceans still unexplored, the idea of a lost civilization waiting in the deep continues to feel possible. Whether Atlantis was an allegory, a memory of real disasters, or a completely fictional creation, the story has shaped centuries of imagination. It became a symbol of lost wisdom, ancient power, and the thin line between greatness and downfall. So, did Atlantis really exist? The answer depends on who you ask. Historians may see it as philosophy, explorers as a challenge, and dreamers as a mystery begging to be solved. But until the ocean gives up its secrets, Atlantis will remain exactly what it has always been, a legend floating between truth and myth, waiting for someone brave enough to go deeper.